Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Student of the Game. I am Kyle Nash, the Student of the Game, and here with me in studio, Weasel. You don't just need Thanksgiving to have a good holiday. All you need is a little Weasel.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, see, if you didn't click around during the intro, I wouldn't have to remember to do the mic. Just no, that's my bad. Whatever. They still got their yeah boy. They're happy. It's just like a Thanksgiving holiday to get that yeah boy. EJ Christian did a yeah boy and a Weasel Wheeze when I guest hosted with him on a video podcast.
Awesome.
So that it's getting to be a worldwide affair. Personality show, baby. Know your role. Oh, Word. He does. I'm gonna go Kirk Cousins. You like that? I'll get to that in a second. But of course, I talk about worldwide acclaim. We can't forget the local hero, firefighter extraordinaire, playing hurt, under the weather, from House Rankin. Of course, Chris Rankin joining us. Chris, what's up, man?
Yeah, it's going all right, man. Just been fighting these colds. The whole family is, so
yeah.
Don't want to get anyone else sick.
So I'll put it like this, and granted, it may take great amount of effort to pull it off, but I'm thinking a great cold remedy would be some dang bacon sushi. Tell me that's not what's up.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was going to start it in. I was thinking about if I was going over there, I was thinking about making it, bringing it over. Yeah.
See, you were thinking of it. It's not crazy. Hey, whatever. Bacon sushi is still football relevant because it's tailgate food. Can you front on that?
You can't front on that.
You cannot front on that. That's something else you can't front on. We happen to be on NGSC Sports. That's the network where we reside. If you don't, you better ask somebody because that's what it is. But because of that, we have a very extra special guest. Look, the advantage to being the head of a network is sometimes you get an itch to talk some football. You want to come on a sports show, and you go, hey, I have a network. And hey, I have a Student of the Game show on tonight. I'm going to talk some football. Pretty much how it went down when I bring in the Don himself, Don Rafael Garcia. Ralph, what's good, my man?
Looking forward to doing the show with you three nuts.
Hey, I know for a fact there's worse fates in life. True that.
Yeah, make sure you use that term loosely also.
And let me give this in a more bass tone. Yeah, boy.
I like it.
Sensation. You're a phenomenon, Weasel. By the way, speaking of things, and this is something, we always hit a quick random topic here on the show to open up, and here's where I'm at. I get that Kirk Cousins has seen a little bit of success lately, but I'm starting to get that whole sound drop of, you like that, everywhere, okay? So I challenge you guys, because I think that's probably one of the most undeserved bit of smack talk that we've seen lately. From the hip, call this a pop quiz if you will, I want the next, most recent in your mind, comparative version of undeserved trash talk. The first thing that comes to my mind is Vince Young as a backup for the Eagles back in 2011, I believe it was, saying that the Eagles were a dream team. Keep in mind they missed the playoffs that year. So that is an example of undeserved schmack talk. Weasel's like, no, here, I'll do Weasels for him. Matt Hasselbeck on the coin toss saying, we're gonna take the ball and we're gonna score. Right.
That one is a good one.
You're welcome, Weasel Wease. See,
yeah, boy.
You're a sensation. You don't need to come up with your own ideas anymore. So, Chris, anything come to mind as comparative undeserved smack talk?
No, but I could probably think of one with the Chiefs that probably could do. Yeah, we're gonna throw a touchdown to a receiver.
Okay. He's going. See, that's why Kirk Cousins is talking smack. He's competing with Alex Smith for the king of the check down. Ralph, undeserved smack talk. What do you got?
Sure, though not NFL directed, NFL related. It is my 11th season and final season of fantasy football. And I proclaimed and told all the boys, well, you already know what the old man's going to do. And it's not a problem with effort, by the way. Anybody who doesn't believe that can. Anyway, so the seasons began, and I proclaimed and let them know I'm going to win the title. And I started the first two games, and wow, did I kick some real tarp there the first two games. I've since gone 2-10 8, I believe, and have been officially eliminated. So too early for the smack talk.
Okay. That is indeed undeserved smack talk. And what the hell? Ralph's a celebrity. I'll go with that. I'll take that. Fantasy football smack.
Word.
That's right. I can tell you for a fact that no one on this show has had a problem with talking schmack that they didn't deserve to in fantasy football. Actually, no, that might actually be true now that I'm thinking about it. I only played one season in one, so I know I'm not a problem. But anyways, enough about that. Let's get to it. Thanksgiving football took place. A tradition that's as great as the turkey on the table itself. And I was pretty certain we were going to get 3 turkeys for games this day. I was certain that was going to happen. Well, I'll tell you what. Game 1 definitely made me look smart as the Lions bash the Eagles 45-14. Look, guys, we've been saying that the Eagles were going to lose for the past couple weeks with one response alone, because Sanchez. Well, he didn't disappoint. I mean, the movement of the football, granted, yeah, I get it. He went 19 for 27. That's a nice, cute little percentage, but with a lost fumble. And the Eagles on the whole getting only 14 first downs. With the Chip Kelly offense, if you don't move the ball any better than that, all your defense is going to do is get tired and then inevitably get run all over. The Lions did that. Matt Stafford, 27 for 38, 337 yards with 5 touchdowns. Megatron has 3 touchdowns in this game, making him the leader in touchdown catches on Thanksgiving Day. There's a needless stat for you. But Theo Riddick and Golden Tate.
What is he has 9 now, I think, total.
I believe that's correct, yes.
Thanksgiving Day.
He went into that game going with 6, and he now has 9. Chris was watching the same stats I do. See, that's chemistry right there.
Same thing with Stafford. The 5 touchdown passes is Lions record
there you
on
go.
Thanksgiving Day.
But Theo Riddick with a touchdown, and Golden Tate as well. Joique Bell also contributed with a touchdown on the ground. With the Eagles, Kenjon Barner, there was your lead runner. Notice I didn't mention anything about DeMarco Murray. Had as many yards, had about twice as many carries. Pretty useless if you ask me, but I digress. So, yeah, Brett Selleck ended up with the TDs. There's some points for Weasel, fantasy-wise.
I'll take it.
Thought you might. And the Lions had 6 sacks to the Eagles, too. I mean, to be honest, our joke is because Sanchez. In this game, I don't think that's the case. But I think it's because Chip Kelly's offense, and it's time to ask that question, guys. I mean, does Chip Kelly have staying power in Philly? Do you can him here if you are indeed the Eagles going into this offseason? Is it time?
Well, what year is he in?
I believe this is his 3rd year.
3rd year. Well, he needs to solidify the quarterback position.
Which he has not.
And so, yeah, he definitely doesn't. And the thing about his high-powered defense, he needs, I guess, certain types of players. Why you got, DeMarco Murray and stuff, it's But maybe one more year. But otherwise, he may need to go to a different team.
One that has players more designed for his system, perhaps.
Yeah, there's one in particular. If I can bring it up a little later if you want.
That's fine. Bring it up when you want. Go ahead. Get it now if you want.
I'll just say this. There's a rumblings out there that a team could trade for the head coach, Chip Kelly. One of the names is the Tennessee Titans. So it's not going to look like the Bucs, I believe, in 2002, where Jay Gruden was traded for 2 first-round picks and some other stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's not going to be that crazy.
I think it's going to be possibly a mid to late round pick. So he would have his quarterback, Marcus Mariota, and otherwise, I guess he would try to start building again. So.
Well,
just throwing it out there.
No, and I'm glad you did because we conveniently have somebody who lives in the Tennessee area aboard. Ralph Garcia, what do you think of this whole concept of the Titans possibly pursuing Chip Kelly with a trade with a draft pick?
No, boy.
I like that.
Well, let me put it this way. Look at the situation here in Tennessee, and we'll talk a little later on about a previous head coach in Tennessee. And except for the Super Bowl appearance and a couple of great years there's been a lot of lean years down here. You just get rid of Ken Whisenhunt, and then people start talking about this Chip Kelly stuff. He's made a mess as to what's happened with what he's had. You guys talk about the pieces that he needs. They gave him control so that he could get the pieces and he got rid of some of the wrong pieces. It appears. Now you're going to take a guy who, also has forget about it. I mean, people are throwing that notion around also because Marcus Mariota, let's just say its name correctly.
There he is.
Mariota.
That's right.
Well, no, that's funny. It's been a running joke on the show that Weasel's been banging on me for calling him Mar instead of Mayor instead of Mar.
It is Marcus Mariota.
I have
and
indeed heard the YouTube
they say,
video.
well, you can reunite Chip with Marcus. And maybe they could get, that would be the right quarterback. Okay, first things first, folks. This ain't Saturday. It ain't college football. Remember how the Eagles started out when Chip got there? Whoa, holy shit, Molly, what? It's the NFL. On Sunday, they figure these things out. No, I think the notion's crazy, but it's possible.
So what I hear you saying, as far as the Chip Kelly offense is basically like the Wildcat that was run under Tony Sperano in Miami. It had its season of success. The difference is the Chip Kelly offense, I mean, it's had 2 seasons of success. I would say that Chip Kelly's first 2 years, they did pretty well. And now it's starting to get figured out. Is it that simple?
Of course, it's that simple. Look, you get a guy like Tom Brady. He's throwing who is he throwing to, by the way? I think one of the guys he's throwing to was a guy I went to high school with who was 10 years older than me. We don't even know who Brady's throwing to, but you know what? He keeps throwing. He keeps winning. He keeps finding a way. What does that show you? It isn't this flashy stuff that keeps coming up every 3-4 years that the NFL figures out. These guys come from college thinking, I'm going to show something. I'm going to show these guys. Hey, you're playing against other kids, and most of them inferior. The greatest athletes play on Sunday. You're right, Kyle. It doesn't play. It goes away. They talk about your boy Colin Kaepernick if you want for 2 seconds. Wow, he comes out of the gate. Look at this guy. Unbelievable. Look at the way. Where's Colin now? Well,
yeah, we could get in depth there, but I just ate and I don't.
For the example, that
exactly.
Yes, these things run their course. They get figured out. The Wildcat was great when it came out. Could you imagine if it really would have worked? Wow, what a crazy a bunch of offenses we'd see. But everything gets caught up, and with Chip Kelly, he's going to have to understand. One of you guys said a new team. Yeah, you're right. He could find himself with a new team next year in college.
I think one of us have hinted that in the past during this year, and I'm with you on that, Ralph. I think that's a good move. So
solid.
High school.
So there you go. You got Weasel signed off. There you go. Chris, anything on that? Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, me too. The Giants fan is ready to move on from the Eagles.
I had enough Eagle talk. Yep.
Here's Chris's take. They suck. Move on. Anyways, keeping it in the NFC least, the Dallas Cowboys hosted the undefeated Carolina Panthers, and it went exactly the way I thought. That's right, the way I thought, EJ. I'd hate to call you out on the air, but I tried to warn you. I tried to tell you the Cowboys were going to lose this game. However, now it's not fun anymore because Tony Romo got hurt. 33-14 the final score. I mean, once you saw Romo go down, it was cute talking about it. I mean, we did it on this show. It was cute talking about Romo possibly taking the worst team in the conference going into this week. Literally the worst team in the conference. I mean, ranked lower than the Lions. And now they've suffered another loss, by the way, making them to continue to be the worst team in the conference. And at this point, with Romo out, you can't help but think that is exactly where they're going to stay. Yet there's still 2 games out of first in the division. We'll get to that later. But if you're a Cowboys fan, you're not talking about how about them Cowboys at this point. I think that's pretty obvious. 3 picks by Romo, 2 of them before he was out anyway. Yeah, just not a good game all the way around. I'm going to skip past this. This is kind of depressing. Found it to be one of the turkeys of Thanksgiving. Let's take it to a game that actually mattered on Thanksgiving. Gentlemen, pop quiz. Give me a guess on how old the oldest rivalry in football is. Weasel, you first.
How about like 60 years?
60 years. That's cute. You're setting the bar. More. Chris.
I'd say... I'd say like 105 years.
Let's not get ridiculous. No, not quite that much.
I think it was 1800. think 1800. It's what, 24? 93?
You're close, but no. Ralph, you're talking all that smack. What do you got?
First of all, I absolutely love you guys. When you follow football, one of the most famous dates in football would be somewhere around just past 3 days ago. Would mark the, I believe, 94th anniversary
Excellent.
of the Packers, of the rivalry itself. It's 94 years, 95 years.
And continue to impress them, Ralph. What was the proper name in 1921 of the Bears franchise at that point?
What was that? I could not hear that.
What's the proper name of the now Chicago franchise at that point in 1921?
That's a good one right there. You might. And I know it too.
Okay, well, I'll tell you when you can hate yourself. It would be the Decatur.
Oh, wait, don't do that. Don't do that. Hold on. Don't do that stuff. Don't do that. Hold on, because they had a last name that pertained to something.
The major industry in the area, yeah.
The Chicago Staleys.
Not the Chicago Staleys, the Decatur Staleys of Decatur.
Decatur Staleys. The Staleys was the last name I was looking for. The Decatur Staleys. Very good.
So, yeah, and I actually knew that one without looking it up, but I have the unfair advantage of having family from there. But I digress. At any rate,
very good. Very good.
In the 94th edition of the Staleys, the Bears and the Packers, the Bears found a way to win in a fashion that no one expected. Literally, no one on this panel picked it. 17-13. The Pack drop another game, and both Weasel and his wife celebrate as fans of rivals. People are going to try to blame Aaron Rodgers because I don't know why, but at the end of the day, one could argue that he's at least part of the problem. The red zone, once again, becoming a factor for the Green Bay Packers. Look, you keep a team under 20 points, I can't blame the defense. You only score 13? Yeah, I got a problem. Now, I think part of it is, while Eddie Lacy did show up to make this game balanced, he lost a fumble. 2 turnovers to none. That's right, none by the Chicago Bears. That just feels unnatural saying it, too, that they had no turnovers. I say it again just to hear myself say it again, and I still can't do it. Anyways, Alshon Jeffrey becoming a factor again. He went 7 for 90. You could say the Bears missed him a bit. Both Langford and Forte in the backfield combined for over 90 yards on 27 carries. Langford had a touchdown on the day. So for this one, guys, I'm going to ask the question, and while other coaches may tell you to kiss their, did the Packers slough off on this one? Chris, let me ask you first.
Yeah, they did. They slacked back down what they did with a 3-game losing streak. The receivers weren't running great routes, not getting open. And then, defense has been playing decent, but when they're out on the field all the time, they're going to get tired and just bend that little bit. But, the offense isn't doing what they used to do. It's just going down back to the fundamentals of running proper routes.
There you go. I'll leave it at that. Anybody else got anything else on that? That really completes our Thanksgiving trifecta. Then we'll take you up to Sunday.
Oh, one thing.
Get it, Ralph.
I did cheat, but I thought you guys would have known. They actually mentioned during the game that tomorrow would be the 94th anniversary of the rivalry.
Actually, what I wrote in the Matchup Mania based on my research from the Chicago Tribune was that game occurred on the eve of the anniversary.
On the eve of the anniversary. Oh, okay. I better get away from this cold deck and go inside. You made me think about the computer. Let me go to the computers. Keep going.
Rams, Bengals. Weasel Weeze, tell them what it is.
The Rams on the road crushed the Bengals 31-7.
Shocker.
Rams quarterback Nick Foles, 30 of 46, 228 yards, 3 INTs. Now that the touchdown of the game came in the third quarter when Bengals cornerback Leon Hall returned an interception 19 yards for a touchdown. Foles was sacked once. Rams wide receiver Tavon Austin, 4 carries for 63 yards and a touchdown. Rookie running back Todd Gurley, kind kind of a disappointment lately. I'm just saying.
So if no one else knew you were about to say it was a disappointment, or heard you say it was a disappointment, or missed that you said that, they heard it in that sigh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Cal.
He rushed 9 times for 19 yards. Rams wide receiver Kenny Britt, 6 catches for 63 yards. For the Bengals, Andy Dalton, 20-27, 233 yards, 3 touchdowns, 190. Bengals running back Jeremy Hill, 16 carries for 86 yards. Bengals wide receiver A.J. Green had 6 catches for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns. And one of the more of a surprises in the league, you have tight end Tyler Eifert, 3 for 40 and a touchdown. And I believe he's leading the NFL with 12 touchdown receptions.
You don't have to believe, it's the truth.
So, yeah.
So even despite that turkey where he dropped 3 passes against the Texans, he's still leading the expletive-deleted league in touchdowns.
Yep.
That's more than Julio Jones.
Julio Jones he decided to I'm going to get 150 yards here and there. No touchdowns, though. But
that's more than Gronk.
Yeah.
Too soon? Anyway.
A little bit later. So, anything else? We good? Because
no, do it. Hey, this is your game. Drop it. What do you got?
We got Rams head coach. He kind of, Jeff Fisher had a little meltdown, I would say, in his post-game news conference, saying, anyone implies that it's an effort issue, they can kiss my beep. That's right. And the thing about it is that I think reporters always try to bait the
what?
I know they bait the players into answering some stupid question, and Jeff Fisher, bait taken. Now, it's not looking good for him. Well, I mean,
so let me break that down real quick for you. I'll say this: I'm not saying your interpretation is wrong, but if you're a coach and you know players are being called out about their quote unquote effort, what's a good way to get your players to realize that you still believe in them?
Respond positively.
Not just respond positively.
Strongly.
But hate the haters. Haters going to hate anyway. You might as well take your shots. And the media is not going to go anywhere. They're getting paid to be there, and their politics force them to kiss your butt, so they have to come back. Okay? They're going to take their proverbial butt whooping. See what I did there? And you know, is there a downside to doing it? Probably. To be honest, as much of the scandal that surrounds Jeff Fisher and Greg Williams and all that in the past, and even in the Vikings game possibly, this is a move I liked in his press conference. For me, this isn't quite the Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State, I'm a man, I'm 40 speech, but it is of that ilk to defend your players when they're being attacked in the light of the media in such a fashion. You know, is it a lack of effort? Well, I'll tell you what. The only effort I might question is Nick Foles, and it's not due to a lack of heart. To quote the coach, it's a lack of execution. And when Case Keenum is your best option, and he's missing because of a concussion, yeah, what else do you really have? I mean, it's the same thing for the Rams as it's been for seasons, right? No quarterback option. Ralph, you got anything?
I do. First things first is I'll ask what the question was, because I just want you all to say hello to everybody. Everybody, these are the guys on Student of the Game. Hello, Travis Willie 1 just joined us. Welcome to the Student of the Game on Periscope. And the question was?
Oh, well, he was asking for a response to Jeff Fisher's press conference.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people out here that love Jeff Fisher a whole lot. There's a whole other bunch that would like to tell Jeff Fisher that he can kiss their leather footballs. But he's a beloved guy. The thing with Jeff Fisher is, look at Jeff Fisher's career. Here at Tennessee, there at St. Louis. Yes, he had the Super Bowl year, the good 4-year run with Eddie, Steve, and the rest of the guys. But Jeff Fisher is known as a 500 coach. He's a 500 coach who's not playing 500 ball now. 24-34. With a tie over 3.5, nearly 4 years. Team keeps getting worse. They had a 4-game losing streak, but they can't even average two touchdowns a game. The defense, which was almost lights out for the first part of the season over the last month, is one of the worst in the league. And the owner, Stan Kroenke, is going to have to make a decision. I think at the beginning of the season they may have been thinking about it. I don't think they have to think about it much longer. Now, I guess somebody will give Jeff Fisher a chance, but the guy, he's a 500 coach.
Well, in fairness, other than Steve McNair, Ralph, I would pose this question to you. Who's the best Jeff Fisher quarterback since Steve McNair?
It ain't VY.
Thank God finally somebody else said it, not named Kyle Nash. Ralph, you're my best friend.
It ain't VY. Unfortunately, it wasn't Jake Locker, as he couldn't stay healthy.
What about Kerry Collins?
What do you want to say? Do you want to say Marcus Mariota? Well, it's a little too early for that stuff. So, in other words, God rest his soul, because he's not walking through this door. I would say the best quarterback that the Titans have had since Steve McNair has been Warren Moon.
Okay.
That's a good one.
And, of course, he's before, so it doesn't even make sense of an answer. That's how bad it's been.
Yeah, so here's the thing. You're examining Matt Hasselbeck. You're examining Kerry Collins as a bleeping answer. I'd say Sam Bradford in an obvious response, but he's not on the field enough. It's conceivable. I'm just saying, you could call him a 500 coach. Look, the numbers don't lie sometimes, but also numbers can and will in fact lie, especially when you don't have a quarterback. I'm just saying. I don't know. Anyway, so Chris, you ready to move on, or you got something?
Yeah, no, I don't have anything on that topic.
Fair enough. Cards, Niners. Talk about topics I don't have anything on. It's this game. And not just because I'm a Niner fan who called this team to suck exactly a year ago. Anyways, so yeah, at any rate, the Niners, mediocre once again. Cards take them out. It's 19-13, closer than it should be, but it still happened. The story of this game, other than a broken tibia for Chris Johnson, a.k.a. CJ 1.5K, Carson Palmer with a rushing touchdown. Did anyone see that? I did see it. I thought it was in slow motion, but no, it happened. And then he staggers after he tries to spike the football. But yeah, the Niners can't even muster a first down conversion of a third down the entire game. Yeah, they got a touchdown to Vance McDonald, but whatever. Anquan Bolden's still putting up numbers because he's Anquan Bolden, but yeah, I just, whatever. This, still a top team in the NFC is the Cardinals, and it's nice of them to have a break, except for the part where, Chris Johnson hurt himself. Whatever. If anybody's got anything on this game, let me know, because I don't. Moving on. Fins, Jets, Chris.
In the must-win game for the Jets, they swept the Dolphins for the first time since 2007 in a 38-20 beatdown. But the game wasn't as close as the score dictates, and the Jets' playoff hopes are still alive as they improved to 6-5, and the Fins fall to 4-7. Look, the score at one point was just 35-7 late in the fourth quarter, and the Fins got garbage time points and yards to go along with it. Tannehill, 33 for 58 for 351 yards with 3 touchdowns, but had an INT early in the first quarter near the red zone was that INT. He also lost a fumble and should have been credited with another interception as Antonio Cromartie dove to intercept the ball and had his arm underneath it, but the ruling on the field was an incomplete pass. They challenged it and they didn't overturn it. The Jets D shut down the Fins rushing attack as they only attempted 9 runs on 12 yards. The starting running back Lamar Miller averaged 0.4 yards on 5 carries.
Epic.
So he had 2 yards on 5 carries. Jarvis Landry had a big fourth quarter as he caught 13 balls on the day for 165 yards and a touchdown. Rookie wide receiver Devontae Parker had 4 for 80. For the Jets, Ryan Fitzpatrick was 22 for 37 for 277 yards and 4 touchdowns. Chris Ivory had 21 carries on 87 yards, 31 of those coming on a touchdown run where he was stopped in the backfield, broke the tackle, and broke 4 more at the line of scrimmage to take it to the house. And can someone name the top corner for the Fins?
That would be Brent Grimes.
Yeah, how tall is he?
5'10".
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's probably late. He's really like 5'8". Who do you think he was covering in this game?
I saw it. So hey, if anybody else wants to answer, go ahead.
Brandon of course, Brandon Marshall. How tall is Brandon Marshall?
6'4".
Yeah, 6'4". And Marshall probably had his best game of the year as he held 9 catches for 131 yards with 2 touchdowns.
Wait a minute.
Both teams this year with the Jets versus Dolphins, he has 16 catches for 249 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wait a minute, Chris. I got to ask this question, man. What you're trying to tell me is the player with at least a 6-inch advantage in height, who's playing his former team, had his best game of the year in this game. The hell you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Eric Decker had 62 yards and a touchdown, and rookie Devin Smith had his first career touchdown catch. Really difference in the game was turnovers, 2 for the Fins, none for the Jets. Also, third down. The Fins were 4 for 15 on the day. At one point, they were 0 for 8 going into the fourth quarter. As they're combined against the Jets this year, they are 4 and 27, which is 15% on third down conversions.
That's
so
not very
with that
good.
lack of offensive production, the Dolphins fired offense coordinator Bill Lazor today, and hopefully this will get them going. But really, what do the Fins need to concentrate in the offseason? Wise, player-wise, personnel-wise.
I mean, obviously, the answer is, well, I should say the problems, I mean, and somebody cut in if you think I'm wrong, but the problems, in my opinion, and the opinion of many Fins fans, honestly, start in the front office, right? I mean, yeah, they finally got around to letting Jeff Ireland go, but they still stink. I don't know of anybody who's a Fin supporter that backs the ownership in Miami. And if there is somebody, make yourself known. I would love, to have a handshake and hear your opinion. I say all that to say this. Taking that off the table because, you can't have an owner fire himself. Just ask Jerry Jones in Dallas, right? For me, yeah, the problem is run defense. There's not really a whole lot you can do right now with that. Also, Cameron Wake is missing. He's out for the year already. I knew we all knew the Dolphins were going to suffer once that was announced. They haven't Ndamukong Suh to shore it up. He's doing his job, but that D-line isn't, and the numbers aren't being there. There's problems. But for my money, the beef is still an issue. The running back position is still an issue. I think the Fins need to find a way. Since they have Tannehill locked up, I'm not saying they got to go out and find the next version of Ricky Williams that's, not mentally out there and, a reliable human being. If they get a decent running back, a running game, something along the lines of what the Raiders get perhaps with Latavius Murray, a middle of the game, at least, running attack, a good center so Marquise Pouncey can move to his natural position at guard. You like that, Chris? And just get the offensive trenches worked out. I think that would solve a lot of their problems simultaneously. There'd be a balanced offense. When the Dolphins have a balanced attack like any quarterback, Tannehill's more successful. That defense then having to be on the field less, be in better coverage. Now, granted, there's nothing you could do about a 6-inch height advantage with poor Brent Grimes having to try to cover Brandon Marshall with a vengeance, literally. I don't know. Ralph, play GM for me. Tell me if you think I got it right.
Well, I do have something to add. Glenn in Alabama wants to know, Alabama Crimson Tide. Listen, I'll tell you, Glenn, roll Tide out of respect for your Tide. I'm a Tennessee fan, so I'm not supposed to like Alabama. Plus, I'm not a fan of the crimson color anyway, but I guess they are the best right now. Now, I got something to add on this Jet Dolphin. First of all, with the Dolphins, you're right about the front office and what's going on there. There's a big problem right there. I don't know how many part owners there are there in Miami, but you know how they say too many Indians and not enough Chiefs, or too many Chiefs, however they say. There's a lot of mix-up going on there, but I will say 2 things about this football game. Nice beard by Ryan Fitzpatrick. You guys checked out the nice trim job he did? And not only check out the nice trim job, let me tell you about that trim job real quick. Last year when he was with Houston, he did a trim job, and he threw 6 touchdown passes. He did a trim job this week, and he threw 4. And by the way, with those 4 touchdowns, gentlemen, I believe that Ryan Fitzpatrick becomes the first quarterback in NFL history to throw at least 4 touchdown passes for, I believe it is 4 different teams. So for everything that they say about Ryan Fitzpatrick, I asked them if they're going to make Sweden a Sweden football team since they have soccer. Now, that would be interesting, a Swedish football team with all this football we play across other countries. But you talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick and Harvard University, and the guy is obviously smart enough to throw 4 touchdown passes for 4 different teams. So say what you want about Fitzpatrick, but it was a nice trimming of the beard, and I wanted to make sure that I brought that up.
Hey, man, look, if beards were your true measure of a quarterback's ability, he'd already be in the Hall of Fame. I think we agree with that. But
hey, Glenn on Periscope was wondering about a team in New Zealand, Glenn, a New Zealand football team.
You know what? I got to say, I ran into a couple of New Zealanders on my vacation.
Sweden. Thank you, Glenn. A Swedish football team. Would they be women, Glenn? That would be a cool football team.
Well, we're not talking lingerie football, but hey, those would be the best cheerleaders in the league if that happened. But I'll say this. Taking it all back to the point at large, the Finns have a lot of work. And the Jets, I still give Todd Bowles credit coaching a team that went from having their starter knocked out with a punch in the face to still upgrading despite that. Beautiful stuff. At any rate, Weasel, Saints, Texans.
The Texans at home defeated the Saints 24-6. Texans quarterback Brian Hoyer, 21 of 27, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, sacked once. Texans tight end Ryan Griffin had 4 catches for 72 yards and a 10-yard touchdown. And that was the first score of the game. Wide receiver Cecil Shorts III.
CS3.
That's right. He had 3 for 18, and the second score of the game, which was him taking a forward flip from motioning across the field, and he turned it to a 3-yard touchdown.
This isn't like a forward flip like Antonio Brown. This is like a forward flip like, here, toss the ball.
Pretty much, yeah.
Gotcha.
It was you had CS3. He was motioning right past the center, and before I think the quarterback just flicked it forward to him, and he then just ran it to the right sideline for a touchdown. It was only 3 yards, but still was. It looked like a run, but it was counted as a pass.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Hey, it may have only been...
It was forward, that's why it was a pass.
It may have only been 3 yards, but it's still 6 points. Boom.
That's right. And now we have Texans running back Alfred Blue, who had 16 carries for 77 yards and a touchdown.
You're my boy, Blue!
Nicely done. For the Saints, we have quarterback Drew Brees, 25 of 44, 228 yards, 1 INT. He was sacked twice, both in the third quarter by one.
You don't mean...
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
By one, J.J. Watt.
I'm hot for what?
Saints running back Mark Ingram, 9 rushes for 52 yards. Saints veteran tight end Benjamin Watson, 4 for 53. Now, the only scores for the Saints were 2 field goals by kicker Kai Forbath. He hit a 30-yarder and not bad for hitting a 57-yard field goal.
I don't care. Even if he missed a PAT, Kai Forbath, that's what's up.
Yeah, it works.
I love that name.
So riding on a 4-game winning streak, Texans are now tied with the Colts with a 6-5 record. What do you think of the Texans finally dethroning the Colts in the AFC South?
Well, I mean, we'll get to that a little bit more later because we got to talk about the Colts too. But I'll say this. It's nice to see the Texans defense look how they're supposed to look. Now, granted, this game is a tune-up with the Saints, but to see them come out and do what they did to start this streak of wins they have, technically speaking, I guess it's a streak, right? Against the Bengals on Monday night to hand them their first loss. I don't know how exactly it happened. I know that TJ Yates playing probably had a little something to do with it last week, but I guess whatever works, I mentioned, I played the video clip from Dumb and Dumber for the Texans back in like week 5 or 6. So you're saying there's a chance. Apparently, I wasn't far off in declaring that. I'm just saying.
Early on, it looked really bad.
It did. They had like 2 wins, and it was just, ungood. But at the end of the day, they were still within 2 games of the division, and now they're closer. It's that simple. I don't know. So, anybody else got thoughts on how the Texans are keeping it alive, improving even.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead,
go
Chris.
ahead, please.
No, I was saying, really, it's just their defense is playing now. I mean, how bad their defense showed up against the Dolphins, it was like a wake-up game for them. Because ever since that beatdown by the Dolphins, their defense has played better. So really, that's what was the issue at the beginning of the season, was their defense.
Yeah, and also noticing a severe lack of DeAndre Hopkins in this particular game by comparison.
And they did it without Hopkins. The Texans' defense is starting to step up their game. You know, it was just mentioned at first they were having problems there, but that's starting to happen. And when you think about it, guys, when you start the season and you believe you're not even going to have much to fight for, all of a sudden you find yourself in the middle of a division race because of a team like the Colts that, well, don't want to or can't grab it. By the way, CL2EN1 on Periscope wanted me to tell you guys that he absolutely loves your show, Kyle, that you're a riot. And we want to send a shout-out for CL2EN1 to his Retronox team on Twitch. But he wanted to let you guys know that he loves Student of the Game. He's sending hearts out. I guess they touch the screen and hearts come up. And so he must really, really love you guys a whole lot.
Hey, by
the way,
it
also helps that the Saints really suck. Holy moly, that defense is like, I could smell them from here.
Oh, dude. I mean, look, the running joke for me and the Saints has been they're like a prom date. They know how to score, and they can't stop anyone from doing it. But considering the fact that they've lost to both the Texans and the Titans, I'll tell you what. The fact I didn't travel to New Orleans this year might have been best for between me and my in-laws, because I'd have been talking more bleep than you can find in a sewer. I'm just saying. I think you know what I mean there. Just going to throw that out.
That's a lot of shut your mouth.
Just talking about Ralph. You can dig it. Moving on. Next game, Bucks, Colts. Chris.
No injury luck, no problem, as the ageless Matt Hasselbeck led the Colts to a 25-12 win over the Bucks to stay atop the AFC South with a 6-5 record. And for the Bucks, any playoff hopes are fading away as they fall to 5-6.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Hasselbeck, I mean, he manages the game well in his 4 wins this year, and yesterday was the same as he was 26 for 42 for 315 yards, 2 touchdowns, both of them to T.Y. Hilton, who finished with 95 yards. More importantly, Matt Hasselbeck did not turn the ball over, no interceptions, no lost fumbles. That's always a good sign from your backup quarterback. Dante Moncrief had 8 catches for 114 yards, most of them coming on third downs. For the Bucks, Jameis Winston started the game well, but the Colts' defensive pressure was too much in the second half. Yes, I did say the Colts' defensive pressure.
Yeah, I was a little confused. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, Winston was 20 for 36 for 245 yards with a touchdown and a late interception to seal the game. He was sacked 5 times. That was that Colts defensive pressure. 5 sacks on the day. Doug Martin continues to turn out yards on the ground as he had 97 yards on 14 carries, which one of them was 56 yards. For the Bucs receivers, Vincent Jackson had 76 yards, Mike Evans was 64, but it was tight end Cameron Brate had the touchdown catch. Difference in the game was really the Colts wanted the game more than the Bucs, and they made more defensive stops. But Kyle, cue the music.
Uh-oh. I got it.
We have a new inductee into the Wall of Shame, but a familiar team. Connor Barth of the Bucs makes it to the Wall of Shame for missing an extra point, but he also missed a field goal in the game.
See, I mean, we've already had the discussion, right, that this year there's more missed PATs than in the past 5 years combined. I've said it already. Whatever the NFL was trying to do, apparently it worked.
Hey, by the way, keep the music running as we have another new inductee this time.
Oh, holy crap.
It's the sure-footed Adam Vinatieri.
What?
Adam Vinatieri making the Wall of Shame as he shaped an extra point wide left.
Is he Automatica or whatever? Automatic?
No, that's Grammatica. But
still, he's automatic.
Yeah, well, apparently not. A, B, he's actually one because they put in these rules in the Pro Bowl. It's either this past year or 2 years ago. I think, it was this past year because that's where Chris came up with the hydraulic upright Twitter name, origin story right there. But I say that to say this. When they put in these new kicking rules or whatever for that game just to play around, Vinatieri outwardly griped. Apparently, we see why. I'm just saying, Chris.
Yeah, I think his inner Vanderjack came out on this extra point or something.
You just said that Vinatieri was an idiot kicker. Actually, Peyton Manning said that.
Really, I mean, the Colts right now, they're 6-5. The lead, they just hold the tiebreaker over the Texans. Can they hold on to the AFC South title, or more importantly, make the playoffs? I mean, their remaining games. After this week, they got the Steelers, who may not be with someone, which we'll get to later. But after the Steelers, they got the Jags, the Texans, the Finns, and the Titans left on their schedule.
Yeah, whereas I could tell you the next two games for the Texans are the Bills and the Patriots. Not two easy outs by any stretch. I believe two of the remaining games for the Texans are the Titans, and they have a round with the Jags left as well. So the Texans might have an easy schedule overall. I think in its entirety, it is not as easy as the Colts. So, I mean, you mentioned injury issues in Pittsburgh. That makes that game easier for the Colts. The rest of their schedule is easy. I'll tell you that the schedule is going to be the determining factor, but despite Weasel's undying affection for the 40-year-old Matt Hasselbeck, you really never know what you're going to get when you're playing a backup quarterback. And I think the Steelers could tell you that as well. More on that later. Weasel.
I think there's a little difference with the Broncos, where they have a new quarterback. It's his fourth year, Brock Osweiler.
Okay.
And they're possibly going to have Peyton Manning, maybe.
Oh, you're talking
possibly,
about his quarterback injuries.
As an injury quarterback. And but the difference, though, what I'm talking about with the Colts is that they have a 40-year-old quarterback. Right now, is this 3 wins or 4 wins?
This is his fourth, I believe.
This is,
actually, no, this is fourth. This is his fourth win because former Viking used this ridiculous term. 4-0 is the new 40.
Anyways. All I'll say is this. He has 7 touchdowns to 2 INTs for the season. And how many does Hasselbeck have? I think it's up there a little bit. So,
okay,
just because he gets paid more?
No, you're better than looking at just the numbers. You know the opponents are much more difficult that Luck has faced. You know this.
Well, it all comes down to the win and loss column.
Yeah, that's true. Which quarterback beat the Broncos? Remind me? Okay. Anyways, so no, but I that being said, I make jokes with you, but I can't knock your defense. Hey, it's the same thing you have for Tebow. If I could find it on iTunes quick enough, I do it. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Hey, that philosophy gets you to the playoffs, man. I'm not going to front on that. So, at any rate, I don't know. For me, based on the schedule, I'm going to say the Colts hold on. But the result of my trip to Houston and what I see in person as J.J. Watt hopefully plants Tom Brady with a sack. It's not that I hate Tom Brady. It's just I really, really want to see J.J. Watt sack him. Man crush, bitches. Know it. Anyways, the result of that game, I think, will determine the Texans' chances. If they actually find a way to win that game or the Colts drop one in the next 2 weeks, this could be a very interesting race. And enough about that. Next game, the Raiders and the Titans. Chris.
On a wet, sloppy game, the Oakland Raiders got back on the winning side after dropping 3 straight by edging out the Tennessee Titans 24-21 on a late fourth quarter touchdown pass from DC Ford to wide receiver Seth Roberts.
Oh, it's not a Carter Cooper combo?
Second touchdown catch of the day.
I'm so disappointed. I want a Carter Cooper combo. Didn't Cooper at least have the most yards for the Raiders this game?
Yeah, I mean, Roberts finished with 113 receiving yards. DC Ford is 24 for 37 for 330 with three touchdowns, lost a fumble. But Amari Cooper, he did finish with 115 yards on 7 catches.
Yeah, Carter Cooper combo. Carry on.
Which Cooper did set a new record as most receiving yards by a rookie in Raider history.
Carter Cooper combo.
And Michael Crabtree also had a touchdown catch. Hey, do you think Michael Crabtree moved his house, or do you think he still stayed in the same one, moved from San Fran to Oakland, just across the bridge?
I think for the safety of the property, he moved to Oakland. Actually, no, wait. Ain't no one going to start any crap in San Francisco. Moving on.
For the Titans, Marcus Mariota looked good at times. He was 218 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he also looked bad as he was only 17 for 37, which is 46% with 2 INTs. One of them sealed the game for the Raiders. Tight end Delaney Walker, led all Raider receivers with 91 yards, but it was Harry Douglas, tight end Craig Stevens, and fullback Jalston Fowler had a touchdown catch.
With a name like Jalston Fowler, it has to be good. Oh, man. Hey.
Difference in the game was third downs. Raiders were 8 for 15. Titans were 3 for 12. All the Raiders had the Raiders also had 10 minutes more possession time. Each team both had 2 turnovers. But again, cue the music. We have another inductee.
Already? Dang it. Here we go.
Yeah. Titans kicker, Ryan Suckup.
Oh, my goodness.
Extra point. It was actually blocked, so I don't know if it counts or not, but,
No, wait. Whoa. Cut the music. Cut the music. The rule is if it's blocked, they get an out. He shouldn't be blamed for his lineman.
No, they shouldn't. It should be automatic. You should not get an extra point blocked. I'm sorry.
But that's not the kicker's fault. Whatever, I'm playing the music anyway.
It's still kind of the kicker's fault. He kicked it too low.
I just like this song.
So there's only 10 teams that have not missed an extra point this year.
Wow. So what you just
the
told
Patriots,
me...
the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Packs, the Skins, the Niners, the Raiders, and the Falcons. And then the Jets have 3 kickers that have not missed.
First off, I'm amazed to hear the Niners are doing something right. And second, what I just heard you say is 22 franchises have missed a PAT this year.
That is correct.
One more time. Whatever the NFL was trying to do, they're doing it right. Weasel.
I just think that for like an extra point, they changed it from, it was at the 2-yard line, so would you call it like a 17-yard field goal or something like that?
Ish.
Move it. They could have gave it like a, maybe at the 10-yard line or so to make it, I would say like a 28-yard field goal, but...
I'm with Chris. Step your game up.
Yeah, they should, but yeah, 33-yarder is not well, it used to be kind of, but it's not one of those automatic things as, evident with all these misses. So.
Yeah, I mean, people scoffed at this. Oh, they're moving it back. Who cares? Well, apparently it matters. So, I don't know.
I missed it. I thought the extra point was from 31. Where to get to 33? I won from 50.
He wants from 50.
50?
Ralph wants everyone going for 2.
So does Matt Prater want it from 50 because 33 is too close for him.
Yeah, I was like 33. Where did we go wrong on 33? They moved it back 2 years. What, did they penalize the guy or something?
I thought it's the 15-yard line, and usually you add, I think, about 17 or so.
That's right.
So it's around. Yeah.
He's talking about where the ball is actually kicked from, not where it's spotted, Ralph.
I guess I'm lost there. Look, make it just put the ball at the 40 and kick it from there. You want to make football more interesting because 31 yards, even though it has made a little difference. All right. Oh, and by the way, let me correct myself. Matt Hasselbeck is the answer.
Okay.
When you can throw for over 300 yards at 40 years old on a team that's barely hanging on, and you're the reason that they're hanging on 4-0 record so far, I take that back. Since Steve McNair, the best tight quarterback is Matt Hasselbeck.
Okay. Who only saw the field because Jake Locker was either hurt or terrible, or both.
And mainly because every time he was asked to see the field, he did exactly what he's doing now. And come on, the guy's 40 years old. He can't do anything anymore. He's 4-0. He's doing more than managing this offense. And same thing he did down here. You looked at man, if you can just go out there and give us a few plays, you can give us a game or two. But he's done more than that. He consistently does more than that. You got to take your hat off to the guy.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I mean, all I do is win. We had this talk. I'm with that. All I
do is win, no matter what.
See?
What.
Ralph's feeling it.
DJ Khaled.
Here it is.
I'm looking at your games.
So, at any rate.
All right, go back to the extra point. What was it? Over 99% of them made, like in the history of the extra point or whatever, the last few years.
Uh-huh.
Right now it's 90. They're 94.5% made extra points.
Let's call it a 5% drop. It's pretty significant when you think about how many extra points are kicked throughout the year. because numbers. Anyways, that'll take us up to the midpoint of the show. Run a little bit long, but hey, a little bit more fun when you got the boss man in the room. We'll get you the rest of the games and also the study hall where we pick the games for next week. You're listening to the student of the game here on NGSC Sports. You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop. You know, I figure as often as I give Weasel his hip-hop, I figure I get a little electric guitar, a little bit of monster in here for Chris. You more comfortable now, Chris? You feeling less sick?
Yeah, a little bit.
The healing power.
Wrong with skills.
Yeah, true. The healing power of music. I'm trying to tell you. You know, I'm not saying we're going to hide behind 3 minutes of the song. I'm just saying it's a good little something to get back in transition here. Chris, take me through it, man. Chargers, Jags.
The Jags at home lost the hopes to compete for the AFC South title as they lost to the struggling Chargers 31-25 to fall to 4-7 on the year. The Chargers improved to 3-8 are a game out of obtaining the first round pick of the next year's NFL draft. Phillip Rivers picked apart the troubled secondary and went 29 for 43 for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Stevie Johnson had 7 catches for 92 and a touchdown. Dontrell Inman had 5 for 65 and a touchdown. And tight end Antonio Gates had 4 for 53 with 2 touchdowns for the Chargers. For the Jags, Blake Bortles was 30 for 49 for 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, INT in his own end, which led to a Chargers touchdown to put the game out of reach. The interception came late in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter, I believe. Jags using running back by committee had 19 carries for 102 yards. Tight end Julius Thomas led all receivers with 116 yards on 9 grabs and a touchdown, and Allen Robinson had 5 for 56 and a touchdown. But going with under 2 minutes to play, the Jags went for an all-out blocked punt down 31-19 and blocked the punt, recovered it inside the Chargers' 20. A few plays later, Jags scored a touchdown. So what do you do? Onside kick. The Chargers batted the ball out of bounds, and it was a legal batted ball.
Wait a minute. But, Chris, why is that a legal ball? Isn't this the whole thing that happened in Monday with the Lions and the Seahawks? Why is it legal? What's going on here? I am outraged and or offended.
It was legal because since the ball was moving and in play, you can bat it sideways or backwards, and it'd be legal. If you bat it towards your opponent's end zone, it is illegal. Or if the ball is not moving, you can't bat it at all.
So it was a ball in play in the air and not batted forward. Okay. So what you're trying to tell me is the officials got one right. Okay, it happens. Fair enough.
Yeah, really the difference in the game, red zone Chargers were 4 for 5. The Jags were 1 for 4. But once again, you can cue the music because Jags kicker, Jason Myers, after going 4 for 4 on the field goals on the day, finds himself for the 3rd time this year on the wall of shame for missing an extra point.
I mean, I knew he was a repeat offender. Heck, I'm surprised he still had a job after he lost the game to the Colts where he missed 2 of them, I thought. Or no, he missed 1 of them.
Yeah, he did miss 2. He did miss 2 in that game. Yes, he leads the league with most missed extra points at 4.
Wow. Okay, well, there you go. But he still has a job. I'm sure Jag fans are stoked about that. At any rate. I think the Jags have the problem of suffering multiple bullet wounds to the metatarsals. In other words, they keep shooting themselves in the bleeping foot. Anyways, little medical terminology for you. You learn something every day, Weasel, I tell you.
Word.
By the way, teach me something else. How on earth did the Steelers lose to the Seahawks?
On the high-scoring game between two teams with respectable defenses, the Steelers on the road lost the Seahawks 39-30.
Wait a minute. The Seahawks scored high?
Yeah. I guess it must have been someone's birthday or something. Yeah, that was pretty corny. Sorry.
I think that's because the Steelers defense went out to get high since they were over there in Seattle.
I see what he did there.
So it's Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson, 27th birthday. It was on Sunday. He played impressively, 21 of 30, 345 yards, 5 touchdowns.
So the Steelers celebrated Russell Wilson's birthday party.
Okay.
That works. Okay, terrific.
Sacked twice, and now in for the injured Marshawn Lynch. Rookie running back Thomas Rawls, 21 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown. Seahawks wide receiver Doug Baldwin, 6 catches for 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tight end Jimmy Graham. He made an impressive juggling catch for 36 yards late in the third quarter. Though, in the fourth quarter, early on, unfortunately, Graham was injured on a jump ball into the end zone attempt, and he is out for the season with a torn patellar tendon.
Ouch.
Yeah. Wide receiver Jermaine Kearse added 4 for 47 and 2 touchdowns. Steelers' Big Ben Roethlisberger was 36 of 55, 456 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs, sacked twice. In the fourth quarter, Big Ben was hit by Seahawks defender Michael Bennett and Bruce Irvin. The thing about the Bennett hit was Big Ben did get hit, so it changed kind of where he was, I think, with the Bruce Irvin hit. But when Michael Bennett was coming in, it looked like, helmet was low, arms were low. He nailed him right in the head with helmet to helmet. I think that's where he possibly could have gotten the concussion.
I think it's definitely where he got the concussion. It was two players hitting one another. Did Bennett necessarily have intent? No. But hey,
it's
helmet to helmet, you're going to get flagged regardless of intent.
And slow motion, it shows it so much. Oh, he did this on purpose, it looks like.
Yeah.
But it is split-second decisions they're making.
It is split-second decisions in the trenches. Goodness only knows where a block propels your body, and you're still going at full speed to try to hit this guy in the first place. It's a tough place. It's a tough place.
So an interesting thing with this, though, he had the next 9 plays from when he had that hit. And the thing was, he took himself out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He had some concussion symptoms, and instead of gutting it out, instead of playing it out like you would in the past, Big Ben did take himself out. So I commend him for that.
Instead of pulling like a Case Keenum the other week.
Yeah, I think with the whole thing with the Rams Case Keenum thing is that the guy is I think he's like kind of like what you call like a journeyman quarterback.
Yeah.
He's just going to go be a backup's backup. And the thing is that if he gets off the field, there's a chance that maybe he'll be benched for the rest of his career or anything like that. I would call it the Alex Smith effect, because one Alex Smith
to Colin Kaepernick, sure.
Yes, Alex Smith was out I think about 3 games. Kaepernick blows it up, and Alex Smith for the rest of the year sacked. So I think that's in the back of certain players' minds.
I'll put it this way, and you're making a legitimate point, but my response to that, and I think you'll agree with me, is what's the point of the glory if you can't remember it happening in 20 years anyway?
Yep.
At any rate.
So I believe
it's called the love of the game. Throughout the years, many have wondered, and the same question has been asked over and over again, why does this idiot, guys like Wes Welker, why do you continue to go back? Why do you keep – because they love the game. And though as a football player, I know that more than likely with medicine and science now, I'm not going to remember jack squat 10 years from now. I better enjoy as much as I can now. And it's crazy because why? Why is a good question. And I guess they'll answer that. They'll ask that question long after we're gone.
Well,
I wonder if the game will still be here then.
I'll tell you what, man, and I mean this seriously, Ralph. Write this down that I'm saying this. We need to have a separate show about this discussion because as you put forth that concept, which all 3 of us, by the way, not all of us has played in pads, but I mean, all of us have played the game in some form or fashion and love it. That's why we do this show. But if love of the game is a good defense for the players, then why on earth is the NFL put on trial for it as well? That doesn't make sense.
Because it's a business, and a business is held to certain standards. Even though it's a business, well, the no fun league. You're going to have a love for the game, but business is always going to take precedence. Who really care? You think the people upstairs care about the fun the players are having? No. If you're not going through the turnstile, buying jerseys and spending money buying PSLs and paying $8 for a hot dog and $15 for a beer, these people upstairs don't care about the joy. But the guys downstairs, they love the game. That's what they were born to do, and they've done all their lives. And when you keep telling them over and over again, listen, you got to sit down. Listen, you can play. Listen, they don't want to hear that. I'm going to keep playing. I'll worry about that later on. Hopefully, you don't have more tragedies like Junior Seau and others. You know, now, I mean, it's up to the player. It's still up to the player. Wes Welker, why? People get why? Because the guy wants to play football.
It's funny. You mentioned Wes Welker, and yet the guy that got jacked up in a head hit was Case Keenum in that game, too. It's interesting. But go ahead, Weasel.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be kind of.
And his coach didn't see it.
This is it's kind of like a downer type thing, but the whole thing with CTE, with getting a concussion, right now, the whole thing with CTE is that it is after you get a concussion, usually I think there are proteins or something in the brain, and what it does is it can lead to like dementia, Alzheimer's, and a lot of certain things. And one thing that this is from PBS.org is that 87 out of 91 former players have tested positive for the brain disease, and the sad thing is like with players like Junior Seau, one of the best linebackers in the game. These guys aren't shooting themselves in the head; they're shooting themselves. It's like chest area, the heart, and the families and stuff. It's terrible. But
why are they shooting themselves in the chest?
The reason why they are shooting themselves in the chest is there are a lot of families that say it's because they want to donate their brain to the NFL. So
to the science, yeah.
To the science. They say the NFL because it took a while for the NFL to actually say, "Ooh, you know what? Concussions can lead to problems later in life." So, sorry, just wanted to bring it up because I
blame Ralph.
Yeah, it's one of those things that people don't think about it, and players want to stay in the moment of the game. But later on, it can really cause problems.
Hey, and this is definitely a topic that we'll be continuing to broach moving on. But hey, we have other games. Let's go. Weasel's like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Go.
Big Ben. He's in the concussion protocol right now. He could be out 1 week. He could be out a couple weeks. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah.
You got running back D'Angelo Williams, 8 for 29 and a touchdown, 7 catches for 88 yards for him also. Marcus Wheaton for the wide receiver, Steelers, 9 catches for 201 yards and a touchdown.
201 yards from a receiver for the past 4 weeks has 45 yards combined.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the game, Mr. Wheaton.
And that other guy then, the Steelers, Antonio Brown, 6
wow.
For 6 for 51.
Check the stats, Ralph.
So now this may maybe some music for this, but it was pretty pathetic. At the start of the second quarter, the Steelers lined up for a 45-yard field goal, makeable, I would say so.
Ish.
And then, hey, we're going to do a fake. What they did was they split 2 wideouts out, put the holder, Landry Jones, in line with the center, and so it hikes. You got Landry Jones rolls out to the right, and there's going to be a wide open, eligible lineman, number 78 for the Steelers. He's going to be wide open. Now, I just don't think he even looked to see if there was any defenders over there. So he grossly underthrew it, and it was intercepted by cornerback Jeremy Lane. So one of the worst kind of special teams plays of the year. So
hey, Weasel, was it a trap?
It was a trap. So, okay, I just want to go over it. I hate 2-point conversions at times. People kind of
here we go.
People can get that, but I'll just run through this. This kind of illustrates it.
No, hey, I take the soapbox all the time. Fire away, Weasel.
Okay, touchdown pass to Marcus Wheaton. He had a 69-yarder.
All right.
The Steelers are up 27-26. Oh, guess what? 3 plus 26 equals a field goal. Let's go for 2.
Hold on, let me take my shirts off. I got to check that.
So you go for 2. Hey, it's nice to be up by a field goal. They failed. 27-26. Seahawks, same thing. They failed on theirs, but the score was 27-32. Then Steelers made a field goal. So that brought the score to 30-32. A touchdown by the Seahawks led to an extra point that was actually made, which brought the score to it's 39.
An insurmountable 2-possession lead.
You're at a 2-minute warning, and you need two scores to tie the game. So that's just my a little rant right there.
Well, there's also the concept of people I'm not in this camp, but people are saying that Tomlin should have gone for the touchdown on 4th down. That would have made it 33 instead of just 30 with taking that extra point. Not that would have mattered with the awful tackling that took place on that Doug Baldwin touchdown. Don't give me Russell Wilson on that. I'm sorry. That was some garbage tackling. No, not taking any. I'll say this. In my opinion, this is Russell Wilson's best game of the year. But Russell Wilson didn't win that football game. Awful tackling did. I'm just saying. Someone had to say it. Weasel, you saw it.
Word.
It was bad tackling.
It happens.
Both sides actually tackled poorly in this game, which is something you don't expect from either of these franchises at this point in time. I'm just saying. You know what to expect from other franchises like the Giants and Skins? No, you don't. You never know what to expect. And we got another one of those kinds of games again from the NFC East. Giants Skins. Chris, tell me about it.
Yeah, the Giants on a must-win game to pull ahead in the pathetic NFC East division turned the ball over 3 times, and a late comeback attempt failed as they fell 20-14 to the Redskins. And now the Redskins are in the first place of the NFC East. Both teams have a 5-6 record. Kirk Cousins, after having bad performance last week, looked good against the Giants, but so does everybody else that plays against the Giants defense.
You like that?
Yeah, Cousins was 20 for 29 for 302 yards with a touchdown, which was a 63-yarder to Deshaun Jackson. Cousins also had a 1-yard touchdown QB sneak on a 4th down play. Tight end Jordan Reed had 98 yards on 8 catches, and Alfred Morris had 23 carries for 78 yards. For the Giants, Eli threw 2 interceptions in the first quarter that only led to 3 points for the Skins. Both interceptions were off the receiver, and the ball floated up in the air, and the Skins picked it off. Eli's 3rd interception came in the 3rd quarter, trailing 17-0, when he tried to force the ball in the end zone, which it was picked off. In the red zone again, troubled red zone opportunities for the Giants. Eli was 26 for 51 for 321 yards with 2 touchdowns. Odell Beckham Jr. had a great one-handed touchdown diving catch late in the 4th quarter. Did you guys see that one?
I did. And the way he got his body under control to get his hand under the ball and stay in bounds, it was pretty beautiful. It wasn't jump up 3-finger catch beautiful, but it was pretty damn solid.
Yeah, he finished with 9 catches for 142 yards. Tight end Will Tye had 74 yards receiving, and Ruben Randall had the other touchdown catch. Difference in the game was turnovers. Like I said, 3 for the Giants, 10 for the Skins. Time of possession, Skins had 12 more minutes. And red zone, Skins were 1 for 2, but the Giants were 0 for 1, which was that turnover. So really, how bad the fantasy East is now, who will win it?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's become a game of who the bleep wants to win this division. I mean,
And the problem is no one wants to win it.
Yeah. I'm going to rule out the Cowboys without Romo. I'm going to do that safely at this point. I mean, Ralph, I got to go to you on this one because I've been listening to Chris all year. While he's an intelligent Giants fan, is your tune as doomy and gloomy as Chris is when it comes to the Giants trying to come out of the NFC least?
First and foremost, of course, we'll all remember that the NFC least has been gifted to anyone who wants it, unfortunately, by Tony Romo's injury and the fact that teams continue to bring their quarterbacks, I always think, 1 week too early. Well, that's just the trend that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But as far as the Giants are concerned, it's been the same thing ever since Eli's been drafted. You get the good Eli and you get the bad Eli. You get the pretty Eli and you get the ugly Eli. The Giants don't have the same defense they used to have. This is a team that always knew that regardless of the situation on offense, they had a defense they can rely on. Also a running game they can also rely on. I ought to know that they don't have a running game to rely on because I had to pull Rashad Jennings out after he kept screwing me every week in fantasy. But that's for another
Hey, Weasel.
show. It's for a fantasy football show.
Hey, Weasel. He sounds like you talking about Lamar Miller.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah. As we say down south, Lamar Miller Ken must be. So, but again, Odell Beckham, listen, holy chivalry, was that a bad apps catch or what? I mean, this guy's got one in him every single week. Give me 5 more receivers like that in the NFL. We'll watch every single game intently. But again, it goes to show you, even a guy like that, with a highlight reel that he is, can't do it for you. Eli can throw the football. There's no question about it. There's not enough weapons around him, no defense. I'm going to say it as a lover. Listen, I've been a Giant fan. Let's get this straight, boys.
Here it goes.
And all of you out there in Periscope land, I want you to listen real careful. Really careful, okay? Good. I got everybody's attention. I've been a New York Giants fan 3 years before I entered my mother's womb. And I've been disappointed ever since. Yes, we got a couple of Super Bowls, but it's hard when I guess the only time the Giant fans have we do have a chance, though. If we can beat the Carolina Panthers in the NFC Championship game and play the New England Patriots, yeah, boys, I just found a light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, I see hope for the New York Giants, so long as we can win the NFC Championship game and play the Patriots, no one else. Otherwise, it's over.
By the way,
in other words, it's not good.
Yeah, right. By the way, Weasel has made your point about the Patriots in the past, and actually referring to, I think it was last week, what was it you said? They didn't win the game at the end, even though they had the chance, because it wasn't the Super Bowl. Something like that?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
No, I knew that. No. You say it exactly the way it was. It's funny you say that because it was about 8 minutes to go in the game, and all along in the fourth quarter, I'm saying it, you're not going to beat the Patriots. You're not going to be the one to break the streak. And when they took the lead, you're not going to do it. And then I found myself saying exactly that. I said, not only you're not going to do it because you're not going to be the ones to break the streak this season. This isn't for the Super Bowl. We only beat the Patriots when it counts the most.
Weasel.
Going back to Odell Beckham Jr., one of the cool things is that before in like a pregame for him, you got your warm-ups, you stretch, you throw the ball back and forth. He pretty much he has the person, I guess, throwing to him make an overthrown, ridiculous throw. Like, I'm no way I can catch it. So the thing is that he is practicing making these one-handed catches on the sideline before the games. And the thing about the guy is that he has, great route ability and everything. And so when he gets to the game time, it's, second nature to him. So I thought that was interesting.
Hey, part of the keys to the kingdom with that, so to speak. So, Chris, anything else on the Giants?
That's about it. Just you never know what you're going to get from them, man.
So, pop quiz: less desirable Christmas gift, the NFC East title or fruitcake? Weasel.
The East does sound pretty bad right now. I don't like fruitcake, so.
So which is it? You're gonna take the title. Okay, Ralph.
What am I picking?
Is it less desirable Christmas gift, fruitcake or the NFC East division?
At my age, I gotta say fruitcake because I don't get to eat too much good stuff anymore. I don't have many teeth left, so the NFC least is kind of like rotted bread or rotting bread to me. So give me the fruitcake and I want my Giants to win the NFC least, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Chris.
Yeah, at least you can re-gift the fruitcake. You can't re-gift the NFC East because you can't do anything with it. So with the title this year.
Wow.
The NFC East.
Okay, I like that.
I was about to say if I made a cheesecake, the NFC East was screwed, but hell, it couldn't even make it past the fruitcake. Moving on. Speaking of cheesecakes, oh look, Andy Reid's in our next game. The Bills and the Chiefs. Weasel. See, I wasn't saying it because he's fat. I was saying it because of Philadelphia cream cheese, and he used to coach the Eagles. What did you think? Anyways,
well,
go ahead, Weasel.
The Chiefs defeated the Bills at home 30-22. Chiefs quarterback Alex Smith, 19 of 30, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns.
King of the check down?
Hey, six scrambles, 35 yards, sacked once. And you could say that the Chiefs have great depth at the running back position.
You could.
They've lost one of the best running backs in the NFL, Jamal Charles, due to an ACL injury, and he was out for the season. So you got his backup, Charkandrick West.
Yes! You totally just said it!
Word. Played from weeks 6 to 11, posted big numbers. Now he gets hurt, and with a hamstring issue.
Oh, no.
You got another guy, third stringer. You have Spencer Ware.
Oh, yeah.
He blew up in the prior week's game for the fourth quarter, and this
92
quarter.
yards, I think it was.
Yeah, and this game, 19 rushes for 114 yards and a touchdown.
Wow.
So you got three players, Charles, West, Ware, each had 100-yard games. I don't know who that you attribute that to. Is that like the offensive line? I mean, what do y'all think?
You think it might be a factor? I'm gonna throw that out there.
It's one of those things that you got these players doing it, but I mean, it's would you say that? What would y'all say?
Well, something else I'd add too is Travis Kelce has a brother. I forget his first name, but his name is Kelce, who is I believe a guard or a tackle. I'm gonna say for the Eagles. I could have that wrong, but what I'm trying to say is this. Travis Kelce is also one of the top targets passing in the league. If you have somebody that big where you don't know if they're going to be catching a pass or blocking for the run, hint, hint, Gronk, right? That helps. If you have a solid offensive line, that helps. If you don't know where the attack is actually going to come from, and that's the credit I'll give to the king of the check down, Alex Smith. He'll, Landry Jones may have attempted to throw a pass on a tackle eligible. I'm shocked that Alex Smith hasn't done that yet. Weasel's still throwing things about that Landry Jones pass. Sorry.
It's a little better.
But I say all that to say this. When you don't know where the ball is going to go, it makes it tougher to know where to go to cover it. I'll grant that. I think, and that's in terms of the pass or the run.
Alrighty, so Chiefs wide receiver Jeremy Maclin, 9 catches, 160 yards, and a touchdown. Welcome back. And Travis Kelce, 4 for 69.
Oh, right.
And a touchdown. The Bills side, Tyrod Taylor, 21 of 38, 291 yards and 3 touchdowns. 5 scrambles, 46 yards, lost a fumble, sacked once. Running back LaShawn McCoy, it's looking better for the Bills having LaShawn McCoy. 19 rushes for 70 yards in the air, 3 receptions, 31 yards, and a touchdown.
Nothing shady about LaShawn McCoy. Boom.
He did lose a fumble.
Oh,
but,
maybe so. Never mind.
You have the guy that he wanted the ball more, pass me the ball. You have Bills wide receiver Sammy Watkins. It's kind of working.
I tried to tell you to give me the ball.
Exactly. 6 catches, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, right.
So the Chiefs quietly on a 5-game winning streak. Should we take them seriously? Because I don't think they're going to get past the Broncos in the division, but they could be a front runner for the wild card.
Can you rule it out? What? They're 3 games back. Now, we'll get to Osweiler in a bit, but you can't rule them out. But I'll tell you this. The Steelers, with their quarterback issues, suddenly have the Chiefs looking like a bunch. The Chiefs are making the other wild card competitors look like a bunch of Indians right now, okay? And 6 games straight without Jamal Charles. That's epic. They're a threat. I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like. I don't have it in front of me. But you have to at least be a little concerned about them. Yeah, they're playing. Who are they playing next week? No, they played the Bills this week. They are playing. I'll have to look it up. But the point is, they're playing the Raiders. Duh. That's a division game, but it's a winnable game. It's very conceivable that 5 in a row becomes 6, and if it does, it's going to be very interesting if the Colts take care of business against a Steelers team. Just saying. Moving to another division and a tight race that changed hands, possibly. Vikings-Falcons, Weasel.
Vikings on the road defeated the Falcons 20-10. Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, 20 of 28, 174 yards, and 1 INT. Last week's game against the Packers, Vikings running back Adrian Peterson rushed for only 45 yards and didn't get the ball too much. And in that game, lost a key fumble. He was motivated by it. He did talk to his head coach Zimmer about it, and he rushed 29 times, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Vikings set into Kyle Rudolph. Beginning early in the season, nothing to the guy. A couple passes. But now, it's the past 2 games, pretty good. 7 catches, 53 yards. Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan, 21 of 31, 230 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. He was sacked twice. Falcons running back Tevin Coleman. He was in for the injured Devonta Freeman. He had 18 carries for 110 yards. But Like in the first quarter, he broke off a long run of 46 yards, but he was chased down by Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr, who on the play was knocked down to the ground by a Falcons lineman. The thing is that as he's breaking out, he got right back up, ran over 40 yards to punch out the unsecured football, and they ended up getting that fumble. So that's like big time hustle by Anthony Barr.
Props to Anthony Barr. For Tavon Coleman.
Yes. So Falcons tight end Jacob Tamme, 5 catches for 69 yards. Julio Jones, quiet 5 for 56. Nick Williams, 3 for 16 and a touchdown. So the Falcons are still in the race for a wild card pick. Yeah, but they're in a 4-game losing streak.
A 4-game losing streak, but more importantly, 5 out of the past 6, with 3 points away from losing to the Titans. Did you say the Falcons are competing for a playoff spot?
Well, they can still, but what I'm thinking is
handle the truth.
Hey, are they done? Which I think kind of they are.
You can't handle the truth.
That's for you, Vikings fans. Your team's a bunch of frauds. I've been saying it for weeks. If it wasn't for Jason Garrett, yeah, that's right, the Cowboys coach, and sorry, guys, the Giants handing you wins earlier on, you'd be even worse off. Don't get me started with how you needed overtime to beat the Redskins. You like that, Kirk Cousins? Anyways, no, the Falcons are frauds. The 49ers beat you. The 40 bleeping Niners. No offense, Weasel. I know they beat the Vikings, but that was week 1. That's fine. You get an excuse. What's the Vikings' excuse? Blaine Gabbert? Ooh. The Falcons are frauds, I tell you, frauds. The Vikings, all they did was ruin my 5th joke again because now they're, ahead in the NFC North thanks to the Bears. I don't know. Pop quiz, bigger fraud, Phillip Rivers or the 2015 Falcons? Weasel.
2015 Falcons.
Okay, there you go, Chris.
Yeah, I think the Falcons.
Ralph.
Falcons.
Well, I think we're unanimous. Heck, even I'm showing more love for Phillip Rivers than the 2015 Falcons. Speaking of things that are fraudulent, all claims that Brock Osweiler was going to lose this game. Fellas, I got to tell you, I watched the opening drive by the Patriots. I watched Rob Gronkowski dominate that Broncos defense, which was the top in the league. I had seen one drive by Brock Osweiler, and I had to leave the room for a bit. I'm sorry. Hey, I have a wife and a daughter. They're both awesome. And I hung out with them for a bit and came back to see the Brock Osweiler had them in the bleeping game. And then, see, people want to try to tell me that Tom Brady is the MVP of the Patriots. And I just don't subscribe to that. We've heard me say that many times on this show. But I can't help but notice that when Gronk goes down is also the same game where the Patriots go down for the first time. Overtime win by Brock Osweiler and the Broncos, 30-24. You better put some stock in Brock. Okay, let's not go overboard. He's only won 2 games. But the Patriots found themselves stuck between a Brock and a hard place. I used it again, and it's still funny.
Wow.
Don't hate Weasel. Too late. Brock Osweiler and Brady had the same completion percentage in this game, 23 for 42. I mean, yeah. Brady had 3 touchdowns. Osweiler had 1 and an interception. They were tied in turnovers overall thanks to a fumble by a receiver, Harper. I did not get his first name, but all I can tell you is he no longer has a job. He was officially cut today. Life in the Patriot organization.
Don't fumble.
Yeah,
it's Chris Harper.
Chris Harper. Thank you, Chris. Wait. Thank you, Rankin. There, I feel more comfortable. Moving on. Gronk, before leaving the game, had 6 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown. He has a knee sprain and has said that he will not miss more than 1 football contest, if even that, depending on how he feels. Ronnie Hillman had a touchdown, 2 touchdowns by C.J. Anderson on the ground for the Broncos, including the game winner, where Brock Osweiler checked out of a bad look to a run. That took it to the Hizay to close up overtime after Tom Brady and the Patriots were immediately shut down. A lot of people want to try to blame Gronk for an offensive pass interference that took him out of field goal range and could have been a factor taking it overtime. But, yeah, there's also that whole fumbled punt recovery thing and the whole holding in the end zone on Osweiler's touchdown pass that forced Brady to set up a field goal for overtime. There was a hold in the end zone that took away a sack where the Broncos offensive lineman was just owned up the middle, the center specifically. At the end of the day, the questions begin coming. I already know Weasel's answer, probably. If Manning were well today, do you put stock in Brock next week as the starter?
You keep Brock, put Manning as a backup. If something happens to Brock, you got Manning. And the Broncos, another reason why you stick with him is that you have to make a choice this year. I don't know what kind of contract they're going to give him, but his 4-year deal is up. So you got to pretty much make a decision. Are we going to franchise the guy, give him a huge bit of money, and maybe we have another year to look at him?
Wow, you're going epic future on this. Hell, I just want to finish the season.
No, but but the thing is these games will
determine.
And the thing is for the Brock Osweiler to be the guy. He's doing a good job proving it right now. So Manning, just be ready to play. He's going to be out, I believe, until about week 15.
Yeah, the cast he's wearing comes off next week, but honestly, 15 is a guess. It's a matter of how the rehab is, and if you're taking rehab as a 38, 39, 40-year-old NFL quarterback who's taking your share of wear and tear, rehab is tricky. I'll put it like that. Ralph, I'll throw it to you. Let you wax poetic a bit, man. Do you put stock in Brock?
Do I put stock in Brock? Well, I do. I do because what I like is like we had before with Favre and Rodgers. You know that with these kids these days, they brought into the NFL and they're expected to produce quickly. And we see that, unless you're Super Cam or a few select others, it doesn't work out that way. And it works out better when you're able to sit and learn. And who better to learn than a guy like Peyton Manning? And I put stock in Brock, but hold on and hold the presses just a little bit because it's just 2 games. So, people get excited. If it really boils down to it, guys, ask yourself, it's the playoffs. Who the hell are you going to start in Denver? You're going to start Peyton Manning. So long as he can play, you're going to. I mean, if Osweiler's playing lights out, you're still going to keep Manning on the bench. I think Manning would. I can't even say on the air what Manning might do to the entire team. But yes, for now, I'll put stock in Brock for the simple fact that you beat the defending champion. You beat Tom Brady. He didn't do it by himself, obviously, but you have to do it with your quarterback. He was able to. And guys, I want to mention real quick. So you guys know that on Periscope, you guys have had visitors from everywhere. Glenn, of course, here in Shelbyville, Tennessee, has been with us the entire show.
All right.
I am Boss 72 says Brock is 6'8". That's crazy. And if he learns, Brock, how to play the position of quarterback, it'll get even crazier. And then, where was I at, guys?
It's only been 2 games in playoffs starting Peyton Manning.
Oh, no. I thought that you guys should know that you were hit this evening on Periscope as Glenn has been with us. I Am Boss is with us. The wife is with me now. I Am Boss is with us also from Smyrna, Tennessee. But you guys have had visitors from, you ready? Sweden.
Word.
We've had a visitor from Russia. That's right, I Am Boss. Via Petrov, thank you, from Russia.
All right.
We've had Glenn, Angola, Mongolia. These guys have got, you guys, I don't know how many viewers we've had, but somebody called me a comedian. It's this guy right here, Kyle Nash, and his 2 cronies. It has nothing to do with me.
No, they're better than cronies. All I do is help let them bail me out when I screw up. They're more than cronies. They're cohorts. I'm just saying.
And Glenn, let's give Glenn a lot of credit. Glenn, I can't use that word, but I'll use this one. His spotty internet has really been crashing, but no matter what, Glenn continues to come back and join the student of the game on Periscope. And before I go, I do want to remind everybody, as I know Kyle already did, and you guys have, of course, NGSesports.com, the website. Gentlemen, this has been, hilarious. You guys, I gotta listen to you guys more often. No, that's not true. I listen to you guys all the time.
You still might have to listen to us more often. And we
I still might have to listen more often.
Well,
but
we still got to do the picks too. So
thank you, gentlemen, for having me here. The wife is here. Oh, by the way, I should mention that we also had another guest on the Periscope show. What is the show called? I Am Boss 72 asked, what is the show called? The show is called The Student of the Game with Kyle Nash, with Stephen Hurley.
Weasel Weed.
Yeah, boy.
And Weasel Weed, young boy.
Love it.
I'm not usually on this show. I'm just here today because I just wanted to hang out with you. It's not true. I miss Kyle. I just wanted to hang out with him for a little while.
And we really
And it
appreciate
turned out to be a longer while than I thought. By the way, we also have one more person who has joined us on this show. Say hi, Chucky. That would be my doll. Yes, I have a doll. I have a Chucky doll.
Wow.
And if I may real quick tell a story that there was a guy with a box with 5 Chucky dolls about 21 years ago. And I was able to buy the Chucky dolls at $5 a piece. I put one in the front and one on each of my windows on the Cadillac. But I kept losing them one by one because people were amazed and they kept wanting to buy them. But I kept the original. I think he's the original. He has no hair. He's yellowed out. But Chucky would like to say, the student of the game, as Jeff Fisher once said, is one badass show.
I can't front on that. I was a little confused earlier when you mentioned the username I Am Boss and then said that Rena was there. I thought that was the same person for a minute. Because
Very good. That's a very good one, because I want to remind everybody, okay, who's listening. Yes, I'm the CEO of NGSC Sports. Kyle Nash is the Chief Operating Officer of NGSC Sports. But the head mother blanker in charge just walked in the door here. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Hey, I'm just trying to keep you intact, my man.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, that are listening, that are going to listen. This, of course, is the Student of the Game on NGSCSports.com. And if you don't know that by now, let me try this one more time in a low monotone before I go.
Wow, that was the lowest registered yeah boy I think we've ever heard on this show.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Take care, Ralph. You never know what you're going to get with Ralph Garcia, but I can pretty much guarantee it's a fun time. That's basically how it works. So, yeah. Speaking of fun times, study hall. Let's get to it. Boom. So, how we looking, Chris?
Well, we're looking pretty good. Weasel's got it going in reverse.
Uh-oh. Oops. You might want to fix that. Get the remote away from the dog.
Y'all are getting complacent. I'm just saying.
You've got us right where you want us. So,
a few weeks ago, I think it was like about 6 weeks ago, when he had like a 3-game lead going. But right now, this week, Kyle, me and you were both at the same pick, so you were both 9-6. Weasel was 7-8, so Weasel falls back more. Weasel is 8 games back from me and 5 games from you.
8.
So I still have a 3-game lead.
Like the Dallas Cowboys have a better shot than you right now. Do you understand that?
We shall see.
First game, Chris.
There's still 5 weeks left before playoffs, so.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I mean. The kind of tanking that would have to take, I can't even come up with the right analogy for the amount of tanking that must take place. But you're technically both right. I'm going to go Dumb and Dumber on you here. So you're telling me there's a chance. First game, Chris.
All right, Thursday night you got the Packers at the Lions. Lions won the first meeting. I don't see them winning the second one, even though the Packers haven't been playing that great and the Lions have been. I think the Packers are going to come up with a game plan like they did 2 weeks ago against the Vikings. I'm going to go Packers because I don't see them losing both to the Lions in 1 year.
Yeah, I don't either. I think the difference here is, look, while they did lose to the 94th edition of the Bears/Staley's rivalry, they had Eddie Lacy in effect and that offense was balanced enough. They just couldn't put the ball in the end zone. I don't see that happening here. The Packers were without Lacey in the first matchup, and they still threatened to win in a last-minute effort. I don't think it's going to come to that. I think the Packers will actually wake up and realize, hey, if we don't step our games up, we're going to lose this division in much the fashion as they did 2 weeks ago against the Vikings. I have the Packers. Wheeze.
Detroit is actually playing pretty good lately.
You're going to do it, aren't you?
Yeah. The thing is I gotta. So I'll name, let's see, Green Bay, Oakland, Philadelphia. They've been winning. I will pick the Lions because their offense is actually clicking now. So, yeah.
So
what's one more game?
When Weasel says he's got to do it, what he's trying to say is he has to be down to Chris by 10 games. Next game.
Well, going back to the Packers-Lions game, and you were talking about the Packers-Bears, longest rivalry, but this one is the longest active rivalry because of the strike back in the 80s. The Packers and the Bears did not play, but then the Packers and the Lions did.
I have no idea where you pulled that from, but that was a hell of a stat. I'm just saying.
Yeah, once you did that, I started searching what you guys were talking about earlier, so I pulled that up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right, because I'm like, oh, yeah, the Lions and Packers did play, so they started in the 30s. I think it started like 8 years later or 10 years later or something like that, but
okay.
It's the longest active streak, but the longest rivalry is the Packers and Bears. But all right, moving on to another Battle of New York. You get the Jets versus the Giants. Giants secondary defense isn't that great. I'm going to go Jets.
Yeah, you're kind of echoing my thought process there. While I don't believe the Jets have anybody to stop Odell Beckham Jr., I don't think the Giants have anybody to stop Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker. I don't know if they have anybody to stop Chris Ivory. The reason why Fitzpatrick is having success is because balanced offense. And Geno Smith got punched in the face. I have the Jets. Weasel.
I also will pick the Jets. Their offense is, pretty good right now.
Are you sure? Could be 11 games back. Just kidding. That's terrible. Next game.
Next, you got the Cardinals at the Rams. Dude, it's the Rams. I'm going to go Cardinals.
Yeah.
Even though they were on the first meeting, once again, also like the Packers, I don't think the Cards will lose both.
If people have a problem with my lack of faith in the Rams, they could kiss my beep. See what I did there? I got the Cards. Weasel.
I also have the Cardinals.
Excellent analysis. Moving on.
You got the Falcons and the Bucks. This game might be a little tough. Both teams need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Bucks didn't look too great against the Colts. Bucks didn't look that great against the Vikings. I'm stalling because I don't know who would pick. I kind of want to say maybe it's the Falcons with the defense, but the defense was decent, but yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Bucks on this.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I featured this game earlier in the season, the first edition of this game, in the Matchup Mania, and had Admiral Akbar in my video clip connected with it, trying to tell us one specific thing. It's a trap! It's a trap! Now, here's the problem. I've never seen a situation where two teams start out, the first time they play, it's a trap, and then later in the year, it's a trap for the other team. Now, I'm not going to go that bold, but I feel like this is a game at this point that the Bucks should win, and Lord knows they need to keep their playoff hopes alive. I have the Bucks. You gonna do it, Weasel?
It is the Falcons, isn't it?
It is. You pick the Dirty Birds, aren't you?
They eventually got to win. Maybe not because the way they're playing, but I'm going to go contrarian and pick the Falcons.
Ooh. Maybe he is talking 11 games back. I don't know. See, I'm only talking this smack to purposely jinx myself. Well, jinx Chris and I. So, because it's more competitive when you're here, and I want you here. Say it, Weasel. Say I'm creeping up. Do it.
Creeping up.
There it is. Next game.
All right, you got the Panthers and the Saints. All right, fill the ball in for the Panthers.
Anybody?
Yeah, Panthers.
Moving on.
Next, you got the Seahawks at the Vikings. I think against the Steelers is the flukes with the Seahawks. Without Jimmy Graham, I don't think they're going to do all that great. I'm going to go Vikings.
Jimmy Graham isn't the reason why the Seahawks have seen or are seeing any success. Sure, they finally got around to targeting him every now and again, but guys, do not forget about my man, Thomas Rawls. Okay, I got nothing. I just like saying his name. What I'm trying to say is this, though. He is the reason why this team is competitive. Russell Wilson continues to get the press, and I don't know why. Granted, again, had his single best game of 2015 last week. I can't front on that. There were 4 turnovers to keep him in it and a bunch of bad calls. Let's keep perspective. Being said, you're asking me to pick Teddy Bridgewater over that Seattle Seahawks front. At this point in time, I just can't do it. Seattle concentrates on slowing AP. They keep him under 100 yards. The Seahawks win this game, and I think they'll do that. I have the Seahawks.
Vikings do have a pretty good defense, but they're going to have to slow down Seahawks a lot. And if it gets to kind of like a shootout, the Seahawks would definitely have the advantage. So I got the Seahawks.
I'll say that, by the way, I respect that analysis. Have you ever heard the word shootout involving Russell Wilson? I don't think that's happened in my mind yet. I don't know. I'm just asking. Next game.
Next, you got the Texans at the Bills. Texans have been playing pretty good defense. The offense isn't all that great. The Bills, they've been struggling as of late, but I'm going to go Bills. I just don't think the Texans got enough offensive power.
Yeah, I see that analysis, and I understand why you would say that. And now I'm the one who's stalling, because I don't know who the bleep to pick for this game. I mean, I like the Bills' quarterback situation better. They got Tyrod Taylor. They have the running game working when people aren't injured. Sammy Watkins stepped his game up. But let's be honest. Well, actually, they did that against the Chiefs too, didn't they? But then the Chiefs remembered how to play defense, which is what the Texans are starting to do. Oh my God, I'm turning around in circles. Against my better judgment, yeah, I'm going to pick the Bills. Sorry, JJ. Weasel.
Let's see.
Do it.
I think defense will win it, so
do it.
It's Texans.
Ah, he did it!
Yes.
Next game.
Who did he get?
He got the Texans.
Yeah, wow. All right, next game, you get the Ravens at the Fins. Fins fired their offensive coordinator. Last time they fired a coach, they won a game. It is against the Ravens. Little cheat going on right now. The Ravens are up 17-3 against the Browns.
I mean,
with no quarterback, no running back, no defense, they're up 17-3. I know it is the Browns. With this Fins, I'm still going to go Fins, though.
I'm going to go Dolphins simply because they have their starting quarterback.
Yeah, there's a lot missing in that offense for the Ravens. So.
There's a lot missing on that defense, too.
Yeah, so, Fins.
Yeah, not for nothing. I'm not going to let you do it on this one. Friends don't let friends, Weasel. Okay, next game.
You get the Bengals at the Browns. The Browns are still going to be in pace for the number 1 draft pick, so I'm going to go Bengals.
Anybody? Good. Moving on.
Yeah.
Next, you got the Jags at the Titans. Jags are still 4 games. Titans are going 2. So the Titans are still competing with the Browns for that first pick. I'm going to go Jags.
This game's a coin flip. I could just as easily pick the Titans as I pick the Jags here. And I say that because right now, if you look over the entire season as a body of work, and considering that he has far fewer tools than Bortles does, I think Marcus Mariota is playing a far better season of football in 2015. I'm still picking the Jags, though. Weasel.
I got the Jags, too.
All right,
next you got the Niners and the Bears. The way the Bears have been playing lately, I'm going to go Bears.
The way the Niners have been playing lately, I'm going to go Bears. Weasel.
Well, the Bears say it's looking like they have a respectable defense. I'll pick the Bears.
All right, you got the Broncos at the Chargers. The first time these guys met, he competed. Rivers had like 62 attempts or something like that passing and had 40-something completions and still lost. And I still think he's going to lose in this game. I got the Broncos.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are going to lose, but it has nothing to do with Phillip Rivers. That defense is still soft. Doug Martin could have another 200-yard game, and Jameis Winston could continue to campaign as a possible Rookie of the Year candidate. I have the Bucs as well. Weasel.
Bucs first.
The Chargers.
Chargers? Let's see. I guess I'll go with the Bucks on this. Winston's looking like the real deal.
Interesting. Okay. Pop quiz. Better Rookie of the Year candidate today on November 30th. Jameis Winston or Amari Cooper?
I would have to say Jameis Winston. Amari Cooper he gets some touchdowns and gathers some yards, but the guy has had a considerable number of drops. So and with what Winston has, the thing is Doug Martin's back, but when it comes down to that whole leadership, poise, and kind of thing, he's helping him out for the season. So I go Winston on this.
Chris.
I'd say Amari Cooper. Because he's the number one receiver on the Raiders, and with the Bucks, they have they have Doug Martin, who's returned the forward with that offensive line that's giving them the yards, and so Doug Martin's running for around 100 yards every game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Amari Cooper.
Today, I'm going to go Cooper as well on the strength of consistency and being more central to the offensive success as well. Fair enough. Next game.
All right, you got the Chiefs at the Raiders. I'm going to go Chiefs.
Hey, you know what? I think it's not the Raiders' offense that's the problem. It's the Raiders' defense. And I think the king of the check down will have a field day. They have trouble covering a tight end in general. Forget about it when it's the king of the check down. I have the Chiefs. They go 6 straight. Weasel.
Chiefs, the defense, I'm going to go with them. With some turnovers, Chiefs.
Okay, can't front on that. Chris.
All right, next you got the Eagles at the Patriots.
Anybody?
Patriots.
Anybody? Okay, moving on. Next.
Yeah.
And you got the Colts at the Steelers. You don't know about Big Ben. Even in that game yesterday, against the Seahawks, he looked like he was hurt. It looked like his foot was hurting, but he was still getting the ball out to his receivers. The Colts, it's a must-win for them. I think the Texans are going to drop a game, and I still think the Colts might drop this game, too. I'm going to go Steelers.
I'm going to go Steelers because part of the reason why Big Ben struggled and he looked like he was injured and there were problems were 4 turnovers collected by one of the NFL's, if not the best defense in the NFL. They don't have that problem in Indianapolis. That O-line will protect. I see the Steelers doing the job regardless of Roethlisberger or Landry Jones. Weasel.
My suspicion is that Big Ben, I don't think he's going to be able to play. I'm going to go with the 40-year-old and pick the Colts.
I'm going to demand that you send a Christmas card to Landry Jones when he wins this game. Yeah. Next game.
Hey, he was the one that threw that stupid pass.
Monday night, it's really, really bad game. It's going to be the Cowboys at the Skins. I'm going to go Skins to Tony Romo. They're still not going to win without Tony Romo, so I got Skins.
When I pick the Redskins, it never goes well. But I'm going to pick the Redskins. Weasel.
Yeah, I think Tony Romo's, he's done. So I will pick the Skins.
Darn it. If you were going to pick contrarian, I'd be asking you to be all like, how about them Cowboys?
There's this one thing, Brian Billick, he's been on the record for saying that Kirk Cousins is a career backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting, but yeah, still.
He happens to be correct. Just saying. All right. Well, that'll do it. Go ahead.
And you know who Kirk Cousins' career backup is?
RG3. I like how you guys did that in stereo. That sounded really good in my headphones. I'm just saying. And as the music wraps up, so too we wrap up here on this week's edition of the Student of the Game. You can find us on ngscsports.com, iTunes. It's a good time there. iHeartRadio later in the week. Good times there. You can check us out. ngscsports.com is the webpage. You can also check out my weekly offering, the public service announcement, letting you know the games that matter most to you in the NFL universe. Of course, I'm referring to the Matchup Mania. And, of course, head over to the NGSC Sports YouTube channel. You can check out the Sports Symposium among the other video offerings from NGSC Sports. We're building that. It's going to be nice. Still a thing in progress. But, hey, Sports Symposium with my good friend from Hilarity by Default, Demosthenes Euclid. Of course, check out my man, Weasel Wiz.
Yeah, boy.
Stephen Weasel Hurley at Weasel the SoTG. Check out the local hero, firefighter extraordinaire, Chris Rankin at Hydraulic Upright, UPRITE on Twitter. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game, on Twitter at the SoTG. And until next time, everybody, class dismissed.